Well, new technology. Try this out, see how this works. Romans 13:1. Let everyone be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except that which God has established. The authorities that exist have been established by God. We're going to talk about this for a couple weeks. The first thing is Paul's not pulling this out of the air. He's actually getting this from the conversation between Jesus and Pilate. And we'll talk about that here. When we read the interaction between Pilate and Jesus, a lot of times we forget that Pilate was Roman. And he believed in the Roman gods. And so we miss a lot of what was going on. For example, let's start with John 19:7 and 8. The Jewish leaders insisted, "We have a law, and according to the law he must die," because he claimed to be the Son of God. When Pilate heard this, he was even more afraid. Oh, okay, well, that indicates he was afraid before. Why was he afraid? I've heard scholars say, well, hey, wait a minute. This has got to be wrong. This can't be what really happened. Because from archaeology, we know that Pilate was not afraid of the Jews. One time he brought 70 of the Jewish leaders into the courtyard and just executed them because he didn't like what they were doing. What they're missing is that he was afraid, not of the Jews, but of Jesus. Why? Well, as a Roman, and a Roman that believes in the Roman gods, the Roman gods also often had kids with humans. Hercules was the son of Zeus and a human. And when this occurred, they often had extraordinary powers. In the case of Hercules, he had super strength. And it didn't pay to mistreat the children of the gods. So here you are, you're Pilate, and you're looking at this from a Roman perspective. And you're hearing about this man performing miracles. As a Roman, how do you view this? You think, oh, what we have here is a demigod. One of the gods had a child with a human. And that's why he's doing all these miracles. So to be put in the situation of mistreating Jesus as a son of a god, that would scare Pilate. Then when they come to him and they say, hey, he claims to be the Son of God. Uh-oh. That just kind of confirmed what Pilate was already thinking. Pilate was already thinking that he was the Son of a God, and now Jesus himself is saying it. That's why he is even more afraid. Now, in this passage, it says, the Son of God. In Greek, there's no article there. So it's Son of God. That does not mean it's a Son of God. And it doesn't mean it's the Son of God. In Greek, if you don't have an article, it kind of means not specified. We're not really telling you whether it's one or many. We're just not telling you that. So for the Jews, when they were expecting one Messiah, they're looking at it as he's calling himself the Son of God. Where for a Roman, he would be looking at it, he would be translating this as a Son of God. very different point of view about what's going on. Romans 27:19. While Pilate was sitting on the judge's seat, his wife sent him this message: "Don't have anything to do with that innocent man, for I have suffered a great deal today in a dream because of him." Now, remember that the Romans believed that the gods communicated with man through dreams. So here is Pilate. He's already really nervous. He thinks Jesus is the son of one of the Roman gods. And his wife comes running and says, "I had a dream about him." This is not making Pilate's day. Look at these two verses. The one in the Gospels and the other in Romans. Remember, Pilate is really upset. He's scared to death, which is kind of ironic. What you expect here is that Pilate is sitting on his throne and the prisoners in front of him begging for his life. And here you have a kind of a role reversal. You have Pilate scared to death and Jesus totally calm. And Jesus, if you want to picture it, kind of puts his arm around Pilate and says, "You know what? Don't worry. It's not your fault. You know, the reason you're on the throne is God wanted you on the throne. He put you here. The real fault here isn't you. It's those people, those priests outside that handed me over to you." So he was comforting Pilate. He was making Pilate feel better. What a role reversal. It says after that from then on, Pilate wanted to release him. But the Jews kept giving him a really hard time about it. And I think in Pilate's mind, he says, "You know what? If the gods really punish somebody for mistreating one of their children, and if I'm not at fault, let's give them over to them for the execution. Because I don't like those guys much anyway. And so if God is going to punish somebody, let him punish them." Okay, you can see that when Paul tells us that we need to obey the authorities because they were appointed by God, he's referring to the interaction between Jesus and Pilate, where when Jesus calms Pilate down and he says, "You're here because God placed you here." Next week, we're going to talk a little bit about the limitations on the government's authority over us.